What's going on, everybody? Super quick video here. I feel obligated to talk about this one real quick because it's pretty big news and it does change things. It definitely does change things. It matters. It may not matter enough. We are probably going to need more information before we make any judgments here. But the Mariners did something last night that matters, and I want to make a video about it because look, they're a game back. They're a game back in the division, and given the position that they're in terms of a coach and GM that may be out of a job very soon and sitting in this very weak division, even though I have my doubts about it paying off, I do think this team is obligated to try to right the ship here. So, um, full transparency, I haven't been watching the team lately. I didn't watch any of the Angels series. I knew what was going to happen, and I just didn't want to go through the effort of turning on my TV. I just wanted to let it happen. I was just sick of watching it. I was tired of watching it, and I was just like, I'm just not going to watch. I'm going to check the score at the end of the day, see what happened, and um kind of just find other things to do. Not worth the energy, not worth the disgust, and yeah, I say about it what you will. I just needed to take a break from the Seattle Mariners. And I'm not saying that I'm not going to continue to take that break, but they have made a pretty significant trade here. Randy Arozarena has come to the Mariners from the Tampa Bay Rays, and we have given up outfielder Aiden Smith and right-handed pitcher Brody Hopkins, who had both had very good seasons in Modesto, but it's Modesto, right? We're talking about very, very low level, very, very low level baseball there. And I want to stress this. I want to be very clear about this. I think this is a really good trade. Randy Arozarena hasn't had a very good year, but he has had a fantastic last couple months. And if he comes to Seattle and suddenly stops hitting, then we just know that the stadium or the franchise or the logo or something is just cursed. The guy's been hitting like Babe Ruth for the last month and a half or so. He's been on fire. So if he comes here and the water just turns off, then we know that it just can't be fixed. So giving up two good prospects, but still very far away from MLB prospects, I think is really strong. And I'm happy about it. We didn't touch any of the guys that I would consider to be our best prospects. So this trade in a vacuum, I'm on. So I'm going to stand by what I've said before. One trade ain't going to fix this. Honestly, I don't know if four trades would fix this. You could go out and get Vlad Guerrero. You could go out and get Luis Robert Jr. You could go out and get Paredes. You could do other things, but unless the players that we have on this team remember how to hit, it's not going to matter that much. And that's why I was skeptical about making a trade. Because in my head, I was like, okay, we're going to go out and get these good players, and maybe they're going to play good, but it don't matter if the players that we already have that are supposed to be good aren't good. And now we've got these injuries. Ty France is gone, which, don't get me wrong, it was time. It was more than time. But Crawford's out. Julio's out. And there is definitely a part of me that just wanted to say, forget this season. Just let it go. Just roll over. Just take it. Just lose a bunch of games. Get these people fired. And we'll come back next year. But the thing is, Arozarena has club control for another, 3 years, I think. At least 2 after this one. But it might be 3. But you don't have to worry about him leaving in free agency after one season like with Teoscar. Arozarena, if you want him at all, is going to be here next year and the year after. Easily. Easy. So I don't have any kind of a problem with that part of it. Arozarena can be part of the team next year. Arozarena can be part of the team the year after. So this isn't giving stuff away for a rental. This is not a rental, which makes me pretty on board with this trade. It's not super expensive. He is 29, I think. So there is a little bit of an age concern, I guess, but most players do not get washed up all of a sudden before they turn 30. Polanco was like an aberration in that regard. So I I'm good with it. If this is the only trade we make, it's not going to be good enough. But we do have all our ammo still. Our best prospects are still there. And look, I understand that people are going to have their feelings hurt if these players get traded, these prospects, these AAA, well, not AAA, but single A, double A guys get traded, but a huge percentage of them are never going to be anything. Like the players that we gave up in the Luis Castillo trade have basically done nothing. And it looks like they're never going to be much of anything, to my understanding. The Reds, at least, are not really going to get anything out of those guys. And at the time, that was like a really big trade that made people kind of freak out. So you got to be willing to give those guys up. And you got to be able to identify the one or two guys who are actually going to make it and keep those guys. All right. That's really all I can say about this one, guys. I mean, it is a good trade in a vacuum. We didn't give up that much, I feel like. And Arozarena is a good enough player with enough years left on his contract to where I think he'll easily be worth it. But if you're talking about trying to fix the team now, like trying to get this team on the right track now, this is not enough. And honestly, I don't know what you can do that would be enough. Clearly, this team is tuning out this coaching staff. This team is tuning out the things that they're supposed to be listening to, or maybe they're listening to it too much and the coaches are just that bad. I don't know what it is, but I'm not believing that you can bring in a couple players from the outside and have everything fixed, because as people have been talking about on social media a lot lately, these players are being told to do things by the analytics department that is making them this inept at the plate. And until you get past that, until you knock that off, this stuff is not going to matter very much. So I need to see more. I need to see more, and I need to see it from the pieces of the team that were here before this trade. Arozarena is not going to walk in here and carry the team on his back for the next couple months. But I want to stress this. They are obligated to try. They really are. If the Seattle Mariners looked at this season and said, oh, we're just going to roll up and pack it in and tank the season and go for 2025, as a fan, I might understand that. But as a franchise, that's pathetic. You got to go for it. You are a game back. You are in a very weak division. You're going to get some players back in a couple of weeks, Julio and JP, and you are going to have an opportunity to make the postseason this year. So as a franchise, I don't think you can just give up on that. If you're going to do that, then, more for that reason, maybe more than any other, you shouldn't own a team. You shouldn't own a team if you're going to do stuff like that. That's at a point where I almost feel like the league should step in and force you to sell if you're going to start doing things like that. To give away a season where you really have a great chance at still making the postseason, regardless of how bad things have been for about a month now. And I'm not denying any of that, but the point is you're obligated to try to fix it, not just watch it happen and then shrug your shoulders. Okay, Randy Arozarena, welcome to Seattle. Hope it works out, but more work needs to be done. And I do expect more trades to happen in the near future here. All right. Go Mariners. I'll see what happens. I'll hope things go well, but it's hard to be truly optimistic about much of anything right now.